So I'm gonna do a little demo, teeny tiny, nothing little dent, but this is my own car, full disclosure. We bought it new and I told them don't let any of the dent guys fix any dents that may be on it. Just nothing against, I know there's tons and tons of great techs, but it's also, there's a few bad seeds that I didn't want to risk having microfractured paint or anything else. So I'm just going to do a walkthrough of kind of my whole process. So, and I'll break it up into little bits and whatever, and I'll share a little too much. So first thing is I just like some Windex glass cleaner, whatever I've got or whatever. This is what I typically use. And I like to spray the whole panel down. And then going back to my car wash days, I like to let that sit and loosen it up a little bit, you know, work into the dirt. And then I always like these Kirkland towels you get from Costco, and I like a new microfiber for every car that I work on. And as with anything, you always clean from the top down because dirt and everything runs, and the bottom of the car door is going to be much dirtier than the bottom. Flip to a clean side and just kind of shine it up, and now we got a pretty clean door that's going to do two things. One, I can see the damage, and two, I'm not going to get all dirty. Sometimes I'll clean the quarter panel too, but I'm not worried about it. So again, there's the little dent. That's my deal on towels. Microfibers, if you're not familiar, their fibers on them are super, super fine. I forget, it's like 3/100ths of the human hair or something like that. If you store your top microfiber towels with regular towels, they become regular towels. They'll pick up all the lint and fibers from the other towels and stuff. So you always want to keep them separate and wash them separate. I usually on hail don't wash them. When I'm done with the car, I throw the towels out or give them to the body shop guys or whatever I'm doing or whatever. Donate them, whatever you want to do with them. But I always brand new towel for each job. That way you just never worry about picking up a leaf or a little piece of dirt or a metal shaving or something like that that's going to cost you hundreds of dollars, you know, in damages or anything like that. So now I'm going to put the window down. So in a little bit, I just put the windows down, and it'll give you a little more detail. Is I left the garage door just partially, like a third of the way open, because I wanted to have ambient light, but definitely shadow on the panel so I can see my light the best. And I put the front window down partially so you can see. I told you I was going to overshare, but this is double pane glass. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. See how there's two panes? That's done to have a quieter, nicer sound and stuff, but you guys know if you're working on these, you got to be super careful. Don't roll them all the way down. Always leave them up a couple inches, not as hard as I have it, obviously, but about this high, and stay on your guard. Just the fact of pushing the two panes together will crack the glass. So you got to be careful with that. But again, this is my own car, and I knew that the back glass is single panel glass, so I have nothing to worry about. So to go over what I'm going to use, this door hook from DentCraft is what I fix probably 98% of my side panel damage with. I've got good enough with this one rod over the years working overseas in hail and everything that I can pretty much fix anything hail related on the side of a car, the fenders, quarter panels, doors, everything else. That'll get me up to the sail panel and stuff. Then I get into glue pulling and whatnot usually. And of course I've got other tools in my bag, but this is the only thing I'll need for this door ding. Unless there's some crazy brace on the Genesis I don't know about, then I'll get into whale tails and brace tools and whatever else. I'm using my paddle from Scott Grimes, my buddy that passed away, that his daughter's working on bringing them back to market, but this is my favorite, and I've got the pirate peg leg tip in there, and I'm just using it. You can see it's kind of mushroomed. It's what I've been using all last year, but it'll do just great on this car. I don't believe I'll need either of these, but I've got an A-cup knocker, and then I've got the shock, I can't think of the name of it, shocker or whatever, with a Little Pecker tip with a black cap on it. Again, I don't think I'll need those on this dent, but I've got them just because I grabbed them all together. And then the window guard, and then a blending hammer I don't think I'll use on this, but this is my normal setup, and if I really want to glass this out, I'll use a little bit of it. I always run an A-cup. This is just my setup for hail. I've got the second hammer weight on there, and then a thumper tip, or no, that's a tiny crown killer on the other one, a 202, the different extensions, and then a 207. But that's my blending, and on a Shane Jack's blending hammer. I've got hundreds of blending hammers, but this is still my go-to. I've just always loved it and very comfortable with it. Something I don't know if you noticed, but I take my window wedge and attach it with just some paracord, because you're always going to use the two together. So it just makes it simple, and it makes it so that I can just hang it on my cart whenever I want, and it just stays right there ready to grab. DentCraft is an old company and they're not around anymore, but I still like this size guard. It works really good, and it's what I had handy. So, and then I always wedge it. You want to make sure that your guard, this is going to seem common sense, but I'm going to say it anyway. Make sure your guard's on the right side of the glass. A lot of times the glass goes all the way down, and then it's really easy to put the glass on the window guard on the back side of the glass and cause issues, whatever. Again, I know it's common sense, but always just slow down, make sure you're on the right side of the glass. I always wedge it with my durable, nylon one or whatever, plastic that you can pry with and whatever. I always tell people don't pry with a Wedge Light because it is a little weak right there. It's very strong for hitting it in, but you don't want to pry back and forth with it. Pry with your cheap wedge. This is a piece of electronic equipment. So, and again, I don't know if it'll show you, but you can see down, it'll illuminate everything. These seams are really tight, but you can, I don't know if I can get the camera angle right to show you, but you can see all the bracing, all the wiring harness and everything, and it illuminates the whole door like a flashlight would, so you can see everything going on. Again, this is super tight, so I'm not able to show you as well as I'd want to, but there you can see all the lock mechanisms and different holes and whatnot. So the Wedge Light will show you what you're missing. And then I'm going to go ahead, for the sake of the repair, I'm going to move my light to the other side and show you how that works. So here's the little ding from this side. And again, I'm just going to use this rod. And so I got the door nicely right open. Give a couple little pushes, see exactly where I'm at. And then I'm just going to massage that dent right out. I've got the light kind of close to flood the bottom, so I can get nice and really match that orange peel. And actually fix a couple of factory orange peels that are a little big. Okay, and so I get it pretty good that way, and then I'm going to move my light back and closer to the car. And now you can see that I've pushed it a little bit high, but it's still a little bit low in front of that. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that. And some little factory stuff over here. Actually, not very impressed with the paint on this. It's got some issues for a new car. So, okay, there we go. And then, yeah, I'm going to use the rocket ship tip. If it was soft paint or vinyl graphics, I'd use that Little Pecker tip with the cover on it, the firm cap. All of our caps are green, orange, and black. Green is the softest, orange is the middle, and black is the firmest. So depending on what you're doing, so again, that's the black cap. And if I pull that off, it's mirror polished underneath. So if you're a metal knockdown guy, which I am not, you're good to go there. But again, the black cap's the most firm, so I could also use that, and that's never gonna leave a mark on a car, or clear bra, soft paint right out of the booth, stuff like that you need to worry about in our industry. That's what those caps are for. And again, soft is the green is the softest one. And so if I'm using it on a Honda Accord, I'm going to go with the green probably. And if I'm using it on an F-150, I'm probably going to use the black, and your Acura or whatever in between. That's why I make 3 in each cap situation. So, and again, now I'm just fixing some other stuff that's not related, but I'm seeing because of my light. And it's pretty well gone from that direction. Now I'm going to spin the light back around and finish it from this direction where it's got the cleanest, smoothest shot of the sight line. And that's where I'll use the blending hammer and a little longer reach on my rod. Okay, so again, panning. It's pretty well gone, but I see a lot of little things that I want to fix. These up by the handle are kind of factory flaws, and then I'm seeing some, I don't know if this is going to film, but look at all that in the paint that I hit it a second time with a glass cleaner. It didn't go away, so I'm going to see that might need a little wet sanding and buffing. Again, not what you want to see on your brand new car, but again, purpose of the video is the dent, and it's pretty much gone, but I'm going to make sure it's completely gone. So. I see that's a lot of that's the glue holding down from the handle that I was first showing. And I think I'm going to have to go back to this angle. You can keep filming from there. Because I was actually sneaking under a brace. So. Again, I want to make sure I get this, as close to a flawless repair as I can, because the owner is a picky son of a bitch. So, okay, that's pretty good. Again, I'm going to move my light back and just fine tune it back down. Again, the further back you get and the bigger the reach, the flatter you're going to get that panel. Again, I know it's common sense for a lot of veterans, but we got a lot of new guys and we want to train them up right too, so I'd rather tell you and you already know it than assume you know it and you don't. So, and the goal, everybody says, oh, you'll never see it without a light or whatever. I always think the goal of every repair should be that another quality dent guy can't find it with a light. So always push yourself for better, cleaner repairs that'll never haunt you. I always tell new guys never go for speed. The speed will come just from knowing which tools to grab and how to do things the best and everything else. And if you shoot for speed out of the gate, the quality will never come. So always shoot for quality on every repair. So here, I'll grab this and pan it this way and see. You shouldn't be able to, oh, there's my wife, but
sorry.
No, you're good. So even way back, I can come up here by the front door. You shouldn't be able to see any glimmers that or flickers. And again, the last thing I always do is check it, cross-check it, and make sure that it's gone from every angle. So, okay, the last thing I always do is put the window back up, make sure your belt molding's good, everything looks good and all that. You don't want to, I've seen it where you didn't damage the window or anything, but maybe you got some of that that gooey stuff that we're all using for cold glue right now or whatever, will track up and look like a scratch or something. So you always want to make sure that the you're not leaving anything that the customer could see and think anything less of your repair about. So that's the repair tutorial for today. And here's the true test, the natural light, and the rocks would show any flicker. and I'm not seeing it. So I'd say I passed the grade on that repair. Cool. Well, that's a little demo tutorial, and hope you enjoyed.